So I've been life drawing consistently for about 2 years now. Every week, 2 hours a session, just me and my newsprint and my Conte. I finally got to a point where I'm proud of my drawings, and I think I'm getting somewhere in terms of skill. Although yes, I still struggle sometimes. Actually, most times. But look how happy I am.
See how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
And then she ruined everything.
Blah, blah, blah. Did I miss anything?
With the new season of Arcane out, I thought it'd be fun to go through the archives of this really cool online life drawing studio called Zeet Studio Sketch and try out some digital life drawing. You see, the last time I did online life drawing is when I demoed the Barbie life drawing from Zeet last year. But listen, I was sent the model videos in advance and I practiced many times before doing it live. Sorry to burst the illusion. It was my first time, and not only would I be drawing in front of dozens of people, but I'd also be talking to the host the whole time. So that is a lot of pressure. Since then, I haven't done any digital life drawing, but I always admire the output of artists who consistently do these life drawings, like Anastasia Platoshina, an incredible artist I went to school with, Emily Shu, who's a terrific story artist, and of course, Sophie Lee, who started Zeet and whose life drawing always blows my mind. Not only are her drawings solid, but her rendering is so cool and unique and always keeps me on my toes. How does she come up with this stuff? Sometimes her pieces show thick, blocky, inky lines. Sometimes the lines are more subtle, where the colors and textures are the main focus. Every drawing surprises me. This woman is a machine. How can you produce so many finished paintings out of one life drawing session?
Since 6-7 years ago, I started doing weekly life drawings. Every Saturday, I will have 3 to 6 hours of life drawing in. Before the session starts, I will have a reference sheet that I make. Normally contains either a model sheet or turnaround sheet for that particular character, and some references for my own, either illustrators I really enjoy looking at. I really want to figure out how they do certain things, or there's like certain line qualities that I really want to try. And during the life drawing itself, I embrace how loose I can be during the session. But if I do feel a little bit stuck, I'm doing the same thing, I will go back to the reference page and it will pull me out of my comfort zone. So after the session ends, look at the references again and try to push what I've done a little bit more towards how I envisioned. I think each week is a little bit different. I approach it differently with different style in mind. When I'm coloring it, I was also testing out how fast I can get down this particular style till I run out of steam and I will just give up. It's kind of always evolving in that sense. And I stop when I feel like what I wanted to test out this week, I got what I wanted out of it.
So with my motivation at an all-time high, I think I should be able to do this and it's gonna look just as good as all my favorite artists. Okay, I was wrong. So I start my life drawing with a bunch of 1-minute poses. How's the demo artist, Leah Liang, getting these tight drawings in just 60 seconds? I feel like I'm drawing for like the first time in years, like I've just picked up the pencil for the very first time. My figures are chunky and blocky and flat. I think a major problem I'm feeling is that like my brush isn't empowering me. And I think another issue is that I'm directly watching another artist not only take a different approach right in front of me, but doing it better than me. I really thought because I'm generally a good artist and I go to life drawing regularly that what I produce will look pretty good right off the bat. But before I get too deep into this, let me quickly tell you about today's sponsor.
You know I use Squarespace for my portfolio and shop website. I've been using it for years and I've never been disappointed. It's so easy to customize with so many templates to choose from, and it always looks professional, and I don't have to know anything about tech or coding to make it work. I also host my shop here where I can manage everything from inventory to sales. It's super simple and my customers get to use any payment they want, like Klarna, Apple Pay, Afterpay, PayPal, etc., etc., etc. I'm a big fan of having a clear and simple website. So why not go ahead and make your own website with a free trial? And when you're ready, you can use my code JackieDrushko for 10% off your domain or website. Thanks Squarespace for sponsoring the video. Now let's get back to painting.
So at this point, I'm feeling crap about these drawings, but I have some important points to remember to bring me back to reality. Like number 1, nude figure drawing is such a different beast. I'm drawing traditionally. I'm used to my materials. I'm drawing a naked body, focusing on anatomy and form and muscles and fat. I'm in an environment where the model is physically right in front of me and I could see them in a 3D way. And digital life drawing is taking everything I know and flipping it on its head. I'm drawing digitally, a technique I've never used for life drawing before. I'm not used to my materials. Sure, I draw digitally all the time, but I have specific brushes for specific purposes, and I haven't experimented enough to find what brushes feel smooth and make life drawing feel quick and natural to me. So I'm still like comparing my lines to Conte. Instead of drawing nude and realistic, I'm drawing the costume and approaching anatomy more stylized. Finding the interesting shapes in a costume is a whole extra thing to think about that I haven't had to before. I'm also stylizing the form in a way that more closely resembles the character I'm trying to convey, which is very hard on the fly, especially when I've never approached quick gestures in this way. And I'm drawing from a flat video, which requires my eye to see the model a little bit differently. I can rely more on solid shapes of like negative space since it's super straightforward and doesn't change if I close one eye or the other. This might sound easier, but it's just different and I have to approach it differently, which will take some time to get used to. The second point I have to remember in why I'm having such a tough time is I've never done this before. My work is obviously not going to meet my standards and look like the artists I admire. They've been doing this for years consistently. I guess I have that disease where if it doesn't look good on the first time, then I'll just give up and never try again. But it's time to grow up and get over that. So as I go through some longer poses, like maybe 3-minute poses, I'm actually starting to loosen up, but I'm still not a fan of how the pieces are looking. I need to create at least one piece I'm proud of by the end of the session. That's my goal. I'm starting to have some more time to block out these poses and then start a new line layer to fine-tune my shapes better. I see that if I draw the face as well, the rest of the figure is elevated because the face and the eyes is what the audience really connects with. The demo artist does this really well as she takes the time to carve out the eyes and creating a really intentional focus on the character's face. So I should probably start doing that more. Usually I focus on creating sharp shapes and thinking pretty flat, but the demo artist is creating such beautiful and volumetric shapes and delicate lines. It's hard, not to be influenced by that. So I feel like I'm being pulled in every direction. I always have references open when I draw to push myself and get inspiration, but it's always art from artists I'm very familiar with and whose style is similar to mine, flat, angular, and sharp, or just done in a way where I'm very aware of my expectations on what this inspiration will give to me. But in this case, this is my very first time seeing the demo artist's work. It's pretty anime-based, which is very outside of my drawing style, so to directly compare myself to a style I'm unfamiliar with and wouldn't normally choose to help push my piece in that direction also threw me off my game. So I'm taking inspiration from something completely new, which is fun and exciting, but also pisses me off because damn, her drawings are cool and mine look just so completely different. I'm typically a quick and efficient drawer, but making split-second decisions and drawing a whole character in 3 minutes or 5 minutes is a really big stretch. I experiment throughout the drawing session with different approaches to line, sometimes using a thick blockout method, sometimes going straight with a thin line, or making a new brush to try to find some energy in the pose. Alright, so as we're getting into 5-minute and even 10-minute poses, I can slow down a bit and not only focus on my line quality and shapes, but I'm starting to think about texturing. I'm having some fun blocking out her gloves in a really big, chunky way, using some soft and hard edges to make it visually appealing. I'm starting to have time to block in colors, starting with her hair since I think that'll make her pop and is such a defining part of her character. Also, blocking out the braids in color at the end is easier than using a line. And I don't know, I took a break for lunch and when I got back, we were doing expressions, close-ups of the character. And something happened during lunch where I was over this and I didn't have it in me to go from 10-minute drawings back to 3-minute gestures of expressions. I was ready to start detailing and working on coloring. I also didn't expect to work on expressions and I didn't have time to think of how I'd approach it. Should I make them pretty push and cartoony, or focused on the entire gesture, or find acting in the face? So I didn't end up finding an answer, and so I gave up and ended this session there. So after this session, I dive in and see how I can elevate these sketches without completely redrawing them. My mission? Find the quickest, most effective way to make these pieces pop, while keeping the raw energy of the original lines. So first I focus on the face. Faces are the soul of the drawing. They're what the audience connects with first. So should I lean into the Arcane style or work with something simpler? I tried a few different ways, but always emphasizing the eyes and the bags under the eyes to pay homage to that Arcane style without spending too long on it. Once the face felt solid, I moved on to the rest of the figure. I start blocking in large areas of flat color to define shapes and add volume, like leaning into the chunky texture of the gloves, finding cool shapes and ways to make it feel stylized. I'm focusing a lot on color, trying to get her dark and edgy mood across. A dark background really emphasizes her dark vibes, but a bright red background focuses on how wild and crazy she is. The character itself is mostly monochromatic. It's the easiest way for me to get the colors in and allows me to put more focus on textures, with like one less thing to think about. So I actually had a big blast experimenting with textures. I mixed really rough and sharp textures with more soft ones, inky strokes to, get the piece a grittier edge. Each new experiment taught me something, even if the results weren't, always what I envisioned. But I have to be mindful of my time. I want to come out with like 10 final drawings. I can't afford to get too precious with any single piece. My current motto is quantity over perfection. So I'm really embracing these imperfections, reminding myself that not every drawing has to be a masterpiece. Sometimes it's about, capturing the energy of that moment. And honestly, by the end, I was surprised about how much I liked a few of these pieces. Some turned out, well, let's say like janky AF, but others were like kind of neat. In the end, I appreciate my struggles because I'm glad I finally did what I've been wanting to do for a long time, and that's digitally costume life draw. I appreciate the difficulty that goes behind it, and I'm really looking forward to adding this to my weekly diet because I want to get better. I want to come back with a video half a year from now and show, how far I've come. This session reminded me why I love experimenting with my art. It's not about getting everything perfect, but about trying new things, pushing my boundaries and seeing where that process takes me. Because at the end of the day, even if I only get one piece I'm proud of, that's more than I had yesterday. And that's a little motivational quote for you. So let me know which piece was your favorite, or if you've done some life drawing with Zeet, let me know which session was your favorite, because maybe I'll check it out. I'm hoping to be very consistent with this, so if you check back on my Instagram weekly, you could see my next life drawing pieces. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!